Okay, in this video, we're going to do a quick review of solving equations by factoring. So on this problem over here, number 1, you just have to factor. So that will be x plus 2, x minus 2. And then remember, you just take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. So this will be negative 2. And over here, this will be positive 2. So one way you can type your answer, since that's a positive and a negative 2, is you can use this, I don't know if they have it on here. I was going to say you could use this plus or minus sign, but let's just enter it with commas. 2, comma, negative 2, or you can enter it negative 2, positive 2. All right, number 2, again, we're just factoring and then going to take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. So this will be m minus 3, m minus 1. Take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. So we're adding 3 to both sides. So m equals 3. And then, not connecting up, m equals 1. So 1 and 3. All right, on this one, v squared minus 14v plus 49. So this will be v minus 7, v minus 7. Now, since they're both written the same, and both parentheses are exactly the same, just take one of them, set it equal to 0, and solve. So v equals 7. So that one you're going to have just one solution. Okay, on this one, x squared minus 6x equals 0. This is the greatest common factor because they both have an x in common. So when that happens, this greatest common factor is a 0 for its solution. And then x minus 6 will be 6. So x is 6 and 0, or 0 and 6. It doesn't matter the order that you put them in. All right, now, whenever it's not equal to 0, you first want to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 4x. So now I have 2x squared minus 4x equals 0. Greatest common factor is 2x. So divide by 2x, and I get x minus 2. So 2x is equal to 0, and when you divide by 2, you still get 0. And then x minus 2 equals 0, add 2, and x equals 2. So our solutions here are 0 and 2. All right, so this is a word problem. It's really not much to do with factoring. First, note that I give you h equals negative 16t squared plus 1500. For a, h is 1,000. So we're going to put 1,000 in for h. And then we're going to solve for h squared. So you're going to subtract 1,500 from both sides. And we get negative 500 equals negative 16t squared. Now we're going to divide by negative 16. And we get a decimal, 31.25 equals t squared. So what I want you to do in your calculator is hit the second button, then hit x squared, then hit the second button again, and then hit the negative button in parentheses. And what you're going to see is you're going to see on your calculator the square root of a and s. And what that means is the answer that was just in your calculator, which should be 31.25. Hit equals, and then round to says to 2 decimal places. So 31.25, when I take the square root of that, I get 5.59. So that should be 5.59. Okay, on this part, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take that same formula, h equals negative 16t squared plus 1500. And this time, h is 940. And then we're going to subtract, that's supposed to be a 0, subtract 1500 from both sides. And we get negative 560 equals negative 16t squared divided by negative 16. Make sure I did that right. And we get 35. And so again, second x squared button, second negative button, and all that does is bring up the last answer. You'll see on your calculator the square root of a and s, and then round to the 2 decimal places is what it says. So that'll be 5.92. All right, the next one, it says C part. What is the reasonable domain for the function? I'm going to tell you on every one of these, it's going to be the one that says 0 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to, and you want the smallest number. So this one's 9. That's for C part. And then for D part, we want, let me see if I can move this out of the way here. We want 0 is less than or equal to h, which is less than or equal to whatever number we have right here. So in this case, it's 1500. Okay. All right, number 7. We're using the formula L equals 0.81 t squared. They give you the length. In this case, it's 70. Okay, divide by 0.81. Okay, hit enter. And then you're going to do second x squared button, second the negative button, and it's going to bring up the square root of the answer. And then you're just going to round to the, this one it says 2 decimal places again. And so that will be 9.30, where it should just take 9.3. And it does. All right, and then last one. This is, again, we're factoring. So 8a squared minus 26a plus 15 equals 0. This is a guess and check. So this one is 4a, 2a, 3, and 5. So when you check that, you do get negative 26a for the middle term. So 4a minus 3 equals 0, 2a minus 5 equals 0. Add 5 and divide by 2. So a equals 5 over 2. And over here, we're adding 3 and then dividing by 4. So a equals 3/4. So this answer is 3 over 4, comma 5 over 2. All right, so that is the